Here's your Backstage pass.
Quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Group. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Shondra.
Welcome, my VIPs. You've got your Backstage Pass, and you are in. Get ready. We've got two fabulous guests. And, this is the place where you find out what happens behind the scenes, especially getting to know the individuals. You see these people all around town, for those of you who are residents, but do you really know them? And do you really know their behind-the-scenes stories? No. You have to tune in here on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for Sedona's Backstage Pass. We are live every Saturday, again, 10 a.m. at KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 a.m. and streaming live on mellowmountainradio.com. All right, for those of you who don't listen to the radio. So remember, if you miss a show, you want to go back and listen to a show, the one you missed or any of the other shows in the past, or share them. It's already been, today is 18 shows that we've done so far. You can find them on these streaming sites: mellowmountainradio.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon. It just goes on and on and on. Now, today's guests, I'm thrilled to have them. Always a pleasure to have Chef Lisa Dahl, who is one of my sponsors, the presenting sponsor, actually, with the Dahl Group, and a gentleman that you will get to know who is doing a music symposium, which I'll be emceeing that at Mary Fisher Theater, and we'll talk about that later when he gets on. So I have some things to share with you. It is August in September, which means there are no big signature events. We're getting ready for that, though, because once September hits, we're in. There's all kinds of signature events to talk about. But being that this is the last Saturday of August, I will tell you about at least one. There's one called Celebrate Sedona at the Sedona Arts Center. It's called the Face of Time exhibit. All right. It is a wonderful exhibit. Sedona Arts Center is uptown in Sedona. So make sure you check it out. And it's been running, and you definitely want to see that, all right? And they have their first Fridays and all that good stuff. I want to tell you what did happen in August. This is bizarre. Are you ready? These are key events and observances that happened in August. There was International Beer Day, National Water Balloon Day. Say what? National Black Business Month begins. World Breastfeeding Week. What? Okay, I've never heard of that. National Minority Donor Awareness Week. National Sunflower Day happened. National Sister Day. National Watermelon Day. National Farmers Market Week. National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. That sounds like something I would love. National Coast Guard Day. This all happened in August, you guys. So things were happening in August. There also was the National Wiggle Your Toes Day, National Night Out, Stop on Red Week. I have no idea what that is. It's a little crazy. So there you go. I don't know. We didn't do any of those here, but apparently those were happening around the country. I had no idea that was actually happening. So now I'm going to introduce my first guest. I'm thrilled to have her here. She is my presenting sponsor. Always wonderful to have Chef Lisa Dahl in the studio. Here she is, Chef Lisa Dahl. Oh, I'm so happy that you're here.
Oh, Shondra, I'm so excited for every time we get together.
It's so much fun. We just, we could talk for days.
We could.
I think it's like a nonstop talking
thing. And I
thing.
think we have the same problem. We both love to talk.
I do drive people just a little crazy because I do. I know. I can tell. When I'm with my creative partner, Dev Ross, she sometimes just shoves me. She goes, the end, and she moves me.
Exit stage left.
Yes. She's like, if she had a hook, she'd probably pull me off. That's what it would happen. Yeah. You don't have this problem, do you really? I mean, people love talking to you.
Well, I'm an overtalker.
You are an overtalker.
I'm a self-professed overtalker. I do talk a lot, but through my work, it goes with the turf, as they say.
It is.
Yes.
You know what I love also is when I come to your restaurant and I know you're there you are, walking from table to table. You say hi to people. You're very gracious. I always say this. Chef Lisa Dahl is the most gorgeous chef ever.
Oh my!
I mean, like,
gosh,
really?
Are you?
Okay, she shows up, and I'm like, you will be in an apron, and then I don't know, an hour later, you're showing up in a gown. This is the truth. I kid you not.
Well, Shondra, I used to be in gowns. No longer am I really doing that, but I miss the gowns. I've got them in storage, so I'll pull them out one day. But thank you for the compliment, first of all.
Just the truth.
I would tell you that I heard that from a guest of many, many years back the other night. I was at D&D, and a gentleman from outside of the area, I remember he's from Newport and brought a group of friends. And he said, there's one thing I remember about you. He says, I have never been in this restaurant. He said, I've probably been here about 8 times. And he said, you have never not been going table to table talking to people. So evidently, if the shoe fits, I guess I wear it.
No, it's wonderful. People love that. They want to know you. I want to know you more. Everybody listening wants to know you more, which leads me into this. A lot of people don't realize that besides being a restaurateur, I mean, you know, you've got 6 restaurants. And by the way, for those of you listening, let me tell you what they are. Mariposa, the most gorgeous restaurant on earth, I think. I mean, really beautiful. At nighttime especially, let me just say, at the sun setting, and your servers will help take pictures of you out there. And when I say out there, I mean there's red rocks glowing right outside the windows of Mariposa. And then it becomes like you feel like you're outdoors. When it gets darker, it's wild. Okay, then there's Dahl and DeLuca, which was your very first restaurant.
And
Gorgeous.
I do call it the Shrine to the Divine.
Oh, I love that. That is so perfect. And then Pisa Lisa, or Lisa Pisa. Pisa Lisa.
Pisa Lisa.
I never, sometimes I switch them because I'm a little dyslexic, probably TMI right now. But Pisa Lisa, both in West Sedona and in the village of Oak Creek. And then the Butterfly Burger, which is delicious. And then also Cucina Rustica, which I just love. That's in the village of Oak Creek. You've got all these restaurants. I don't know. Are you cloned? Do you have like a doppelganger or something that goes running around to all these restaurants? How do you make it to all these restaurants?
I think I realized with number 4 that getting to all of them in one night would be a little trickier. So I've kind of chilled down my FOMO. You know, we talked about FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
And I try to go to, let's say, 3 a night or 2. Now, one thing about me is I'm a creature of habit. I get to dine in the restaurants. And if there's any fringe benefit of being a restaurateur, which we all know has gotten harder and harder and more challenging, is to sit down at the end of the evening and have something delicious made by my wonderful kitchen folks, my angels, and just chill.
I mean,
for a minute.
really, that is so good. That
It
is
really
so
is.
good.
And so the only cooking I do is actually my leftovers in the morning.
Okay, all right. Now, you know what? I'm going down another path for just a moment.
Okay.
I have some questions for you.
Yes.
What's your favorite breakfast? What do you eat? What do you eat?
You will freak out when I tell you what I don't eat often.
What do you not eat often?
Huevos.
Okay, you don't eat eggs.
It's not that I have an aversion. I actually am not egg crazy, but I am egg making crazy.
Okay.
So Scott, my significant other, has always said, if you ever opened a breakfast place in this town, it would be crazy, because what my specialty is what you do with leftovers, with or without eggs, and mostly with eggs. So I'll tell you that almost anything you have and you have a little bit left over, especially Italian, the next day, if done right, I mean, you take a little eggplant parmesan with a little capellini pomodoro that's left over, and you put in a little olive oil in a little saute pan, gets crispy. You take that egg, bird in the nest styles, right in the center of that little creation, and you season it up, flip it once. You got the best thing you ever tasted in your life. Now, I make that for Scott almost 3 times a week, let's say.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll bring home, my goodness, one of my favorite things that you'd never believe that makes a perfect breakfast is, you know how at Butterfly Burger, our green goddess kale is a little too big. Let's face it, it's a little too big. Okay. But it has the bacon, it has the chicken, it has avocado and white cheddar, and the dressing. And it's you've got like a little mouthful or two. Take it, I put it in the pan, same thing. I crisp it up, and it's like an egg hash, out of this world. So I do not believe in waste. And I think that's important for you to know that I can't handle waste.
I'm
It
so
bothers
glad-
me
Yeah.
more than words.
I have to say, I agree with you.
Yes.
I have a thing about it.
Me too.
It depresses me.
Me too.
You know, I want to use everything that's in my kitchen or in my refrigerator because
absolutely.
it freaks me out when something goes rotten. It's like, oh, Shondra, really? Because
Yeah.
so many people who are hungry.
Oh, yeah.
And this brings me to what I want to talk to you about in this show. You are so community oriented. You know, I love that. I love the fact that here you are, so much food is thrown away in restaurants.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And in groceries.
And at grocery stores.
It's taken for granted, and it's heartbreaking more than words could ever say. You know, when I turn on the news, which I'm guilty of doing, and I see in Gaza how just holding those pans, those empty pans, wanting just a little rice, just a little flour, it's heartbreaking because here you look at servers taking half-eaten dishes or just where people have over-ordered and they're shoveling it into the garbage. And it breaks my heart. It really
I can
does.
imagine that it does. And you are so involved in volunteering. And you and I have been involved in events together.
Yes.
And you have given a lot of food. I mean, you make this delicious food and you literally give it to the events. Yeah. I've seen it with memorial services that Tom and I have sung at. I've just seen it over and over and over again. And you have this wonderful foundation, the Lisa Dahl Foundation. By the way, if you want to know more information about that, the LisaDahlFoundation.org. Make sure that you go visit that because there's some information of how you can get involved with donating to this wonderful foundation. For instance, Soup Hope. Soup Hope, tell me about every time people order soup.
Yes.
Right? Tell us about that.
Well, I discovered quite a few years ago when World Central Kitchen first became a big thing, but it was just coming out. And I discovered that if we could give a portion of all of our soups to the World Central Kitchen, that, I can't even tell you how many dollars we accumulated for that back then. Now, there's so many crises in the world, in the country, in our little area.
I know.
That it's almost unfathomable how much is needed. So that's why we started the foundation. Soup Hope is an actual soup. It's also a metaphorical soup for giving. So it's operating on a number of levels. One thing I don't know if we've spoken about, but community is, we know it's everything. But I just realized and was told something that I hadn't known until a few months ago, that there's actually people that are undernourished and underfed in the town of Sedona.
Yes, it's true.
And I didn't know this.
Oh.
I mean, I knew that there are people that of course don't have enough elderly people. I mean, my goodness, they don't always know how to feed themselves. But I didn't realize that the Sedona Food Bank is giving meals all the time to people that actually need to be fed. And they do it on many levels. But I just started doing a monthly. We would love to do it even more, but I started a monthly thing with Soup Hope. Now, at this time of year, it's gazpacho, not the hot soup.
Right.
We did the hot soup the first time, which is Soup Hope, which is a delicious bean and legume and quinoa and vegetables, all organic. By the way, I would like people to know that we do sell Soup Hope. I make every batch with my sous chef, and we do that. We're going to make it again this Saturday, and we freeze it in pints and quarts, and it's really selling out of the village of Oak Creek, Pisa, where we have a deep free that you can come into the grab and go, and we just bring it up. So very well priced, but it's vegan, it's gluten-free,
How wonderful.
and it's delicious. But Soup Hope, Now, anytime someone is purchasing soup, whether in that fashion or in the restaurants, you're having a gazpacho, a good portion of the proceeds is going to Soup Hope, which keeps our little engine running because we're not well endowed. We're not well endowed at this point because we haven't gotten out on the street and said we're ready to start having our big fundraisers and things.
Sure.
We certainly love donations, but we have been doing charity since the day we came in this town. And charity comes in so many ways, and I always loved it. Making platters. Today I received a very interesting request from someone I've known from years past, but she's part of a foundation, a non-for-profit out of the Phoenix area that is helping to remove tattoos from women that were like in almost like their tattoos are their negative brandings that carry stigma from their lives. And she said, would we give a gift card? I said, we'll do more than a gift card. We'll do several gift cards, and we'll do signed cookbooks so it's a lot of ways. It's not always just the food, but daily there are requests for charitable giving, and we've been doing that forever. But now we have the foundation, and the foundation allows us to not just give to every foundation, but to give on a community level and to start to build what we need in our coffers, which to produce Soup Hope, which is this wonderful soup that I'm mentioning is available in Pisa Lisa, VLC, but we want it in we want it in a bottle configuration. We'd like it in a glass jar with a lovely label with the backstory of why I am here in the first place in Sedona because of my son. So it's not an inexpensive endeavor. Whenever you're trying to bottle something, you need to have engineering. You need to do it right so that when you try that product, it tastes like you really made it and you got your stuff taste as good as you could expect. And that's not cheap.
No, and it's not, yes, it's not inexpensive. No. And then, of course, it's not an easy task.
No.
Because it has, you have to have your hands all over it. I know that.
Well,
because,
that's a process. We can make it, and we make all of our soups from scratch daily, weekly. Of course, we're not in the high season of soup making because it's 100 degrees out. But our gazpacho is incredible. And so I believe soups heal. And that's why I called it Soup Hope.
Love that.
And not just for people that are undernourished, for people that are getting over terrible things they've been through and they can't digest. I love to see people enjoy soups year round. But of course, coming fall, then we start to roll out our repertoire of all the wonderful soups that we've done for 30 years.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. By the way, again, I'm going to do a little shout out, lisadahlfoundation.org. You can learn more about how you can help this wonderful foundation and help with Soup Hope. There's ways that you can donate, by the way. There's several ways, actually. You can get online and make a donation for Seeds of Hope. You can do that. You can give through a donor-advised fund. Like if you have, I'm assuming that could be like Sedona Community Foundation.
Well, and I do want you to know that this is a very big thing. We are under the umbrella of the Arizona Community Foundation.
You are under the Arizona Community.
And that I just got goosebumps getting to say that, which of course is Sedona Community Foundation.
That's right.
Is under the umbrella of the Arizona Community Foundation.
Arizona Community Foundation. So you can get your tax deduction and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
If you want to go through that, and you can just say, I want this to go to the Lisa Dahl Foundation.
Yes.
And that's huge, that you can really help with that. And also you can just write a check and you can mail it in, or you can call and make a donation. Super important for people to know that. Now, I want to talk to you about the fact that I know that tell me what this is, 1,500 guest food donations. Tell me about that. Tell us all about it. I want to know.
I absolutely am going to tell you about that, but I want to go back to one other way that could also transpire with the foundation, being that we are still a new 501c, is that we are looking for board members that could join forces with us and help our creative juices flow and help us with our reach out. Because once we build our foundation board, we are going to start having film and feast events. We're going to have some really interesting like wine dinners where you can see the film on the bigger screen. Sedona International Film Festival will help us with that, maybe at the Mary Fisher, and then come to the restaurants for dinner. And also possibly we're going to do dinners on the lawn.
Oh, I love this.
And so things like that we can talk about another time.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the events that go on in mostly in Arizona, but yet some are outside of our area, they're always a lot of work. To tell you, I think about them every year. The minute that we get done, like with Devour, which you mentioned.
Yes.
Devour is the largest culinary event in the Southwest.
Wow.
And it's incredible because many of the restaurants, mostly Phoenix-centric, it's at the Arizona Botanical Gardens. So the setting is absolutely amazing. It went dormant during COVID. And then
as
it
many
came
things
back.
did.
Many things did.
Yes.
And I've done it the last, 2 or 3 years. It's interesting. The day that it is done is also the first day of the Sedona International Film Festival. Wouldn't you know?
Wow.
That 2 ass kickers. I'm sorry if I used a bad word.
No,
I
it's
mean
okay.
it too.
It's true. I don't even think we have to bleep that out.
Okay.
Ass kicker is like so right, spot on.
Oh
with
my
this.
gosh. You start worrying about it months in advance.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is to see the people, the appreciation, not just Sedonans. I will see people that come up, and I always, having FOMO, I have to be on the front line, right?
Right.
And I like to give whatever that, if I'm handing the soup or I'm ladling the soup or whatever I'm doing. But it's that interaction and connection
Yes.
with the people that have been coming to visit us for years, decades in some cases. And I'll be honest with you, the things that they say make me say, okay, maybe I can do this one more year, but it is no small endeavor. The last couple of years, I have done different things. I did 2 years ago. I always do a soup or a salad because they're not used to people doing healthy things. A lot of the other chefs do something wonderful, but usually a lot of meat or doing things on. I keep it simple to my style. Salads, soups, empanadas. I did a great pasta dish a few years ago along with a salad, and people, you would have thought that you were giving them something very like filet mignon or something. They just appreciate what goes into the endeavor to bring all of the food and the labor, the staffing that I bring. I usually have about 5 people with me.
Wow.
And they're all people that are service from their heart and want to do it. Because I'll give you an example. We go and set up our tent and our backdrops and all of our refrigeration and all of that the day before. I mean, there's so many layers that go into putting on events, which just from the things that you do. But in culinary, you've got to be board of health. They want to inspect your temperatures. I mean, it's a lot.
It is. Wow. I mean, I tip my hat to you. Yes, I've produced many, many, many fundraisers, and they're not easy. You have to have a team of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, when you're talking about food, that's a whole different ballgame. You have to have all those certifications, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Safety.
It starts months in advance.
Yeah, it's intense. So now, the Devour event, this is a culinary event, and you're representing Sedona, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And that's another way of giving back. You have you're giving back because you're bringing Sedona to people's consciousness, their understanding that Sedona is also about having really healthy food, right? It's and really your food is very high level. It really is. I mean, your restaurants are gorgeous, but you create an atmosphere, but the food is so different.
Well, food is everything. And chefs have their own styles. And, Food Network has made everything about competition and how unique you can turn something into another something. But I can only go so far with that. I think we eat with our eyes, and that's first and foremost, and that the sourcing and the natural vitality and vibrancy of the food is what resonates and brings people back year after year. Of course, I believe in ambiance. I believe in the whole package. But you can have a gorgeous restaurant with mediocre food, but it's really, you need to try to have them both.
I know. I cannot wait to have you come back. Can you believe that we're already out of time?
No, I'm mad.
Are you?
I'm PO'd.
I'm a little pissed off myself, actually. I'm just like, really? Now we have to wind this thing up. Well, you're going to come back because you always do. I love it. You're my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group. I love you, Chef Lisa.
I love you, Shondra.
And make sure that you visit these restaurants, Mariposa, Dahl and DeLuca, Pizza Lisa, Butterfly Burger, and Cucina Rustica. Thank you, Lisa. We will talk very soon.
Yeah.
Stay with me.
You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful, handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the wood-fired kitchens of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Cleaner, Quicker Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day, and look like a star in your car. Located in West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit cleanerquickercarwash.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Group.
Hey, thank you for staying with me. I'm thrilled to have this guest on. He is a wonderful person. I first met him at the Sedona Heritage Museum, where he's a volunteer, and he just so happens to be the founder and the organizer of the Artists Consortium. Skip Daum, thank you for being here with me today, Skip.
Totally my pleasure, Shondra. I met you at the Heritage Museum, where I also volunteer, and this is an exciting town. It's an art mecca for me, and it's great meeting you and sharing thoughts with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm so curious to find out, who is Skip Daum? You're fairly new in town, aren't you?
I got here about 10 months ago, yeah.
And you hit the ground running.
Well, I guess I did. I meandered in the western states for a couple months, going to over 24 art galleries. And when I came into Sedona, it wasn't a destination. It was only going to be a way station. As soon as I hit town, I said, I am staying.
You got Red Rock fever. That's what we call that,
Yeah, well, it's catching,
It is, apparently.
Well,
I know.
It caught me by surprise, and I think I was here less than a week when I volunteered at the museum.
How wonderful. Did you have a place to stay when you did volunteer, or were you like, I'm going to do this, I have no idea where I'm going to stay, so I'm going to stay in a resort or a hotel? What happened?
A good question. As many people have found out, the rental rates in this little town of only 9,700 residents are extraordinarily high, and I needed a place to rent that was furnished and that was affordable. And ultimately, I found one on my own search with a little sign posted, room for rent. It was fantastic. I could be at the museum walking in 4 minutes. And so It was a great place. However, the building was purchased about 2 months ago by an investor in the Bay Area in California. So I and the other tenants were evicted.
Whoa.
I subsequently had good fortune shine on me one more time when a good realtor friend here in town told me about a house that just sold. And I went up to the owner of the house as he and they were moving in. And I merely said, hi, you don't know me and I don't know you, but I just got evicted, and I'm not a criminal. I don't smoke. I have no pets. I pay on time. Former Air Force. And I volunteer at the Heritage Museum. May I rent the lower unit? And a day later, I signed the lease.
I mean, see, that's magic. That's when you know you're supposed to be here.
I think you're right.
I know I'm supposed to be here because everything comes together so synchronistically. It's a Sedona moment. That's what we call those. Mm-hmm. So welcome to Sedona, 10 months in. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm so enthralled by how you have gotten around to talk and really get yourself into the community, like really meeting people. I mean, the Artists Consortium, like, let's just start there. You know, you had a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce, the
Yes.
Greater Sedona Chamber of Commerce. Tell us a little bit about that.
When I decided to, first of all, the background on this whole episode, if you will, is that I started going to art galleries right away. And I'm fairly gregarious, and so I started speaking with not only the gallery owners, but the artists. And I sensed, I don't know why, I sensed that the artists here in this town don't really gather frequently. And so I wanted to put them together to collaborate, convene, collect, and consort with one another. So I just off the cuff said, well, I'm going to start a consortium and ask each of them personally if they wouldn't mind being on a stage in front of an audience and talk among themselves. And indeed, the first 5 bronze sculptors I approached were more than happy to do that.
Yes, and let's talk about those people. I have the list right here. Susan Cleaver. If you don't know, first of all, you do know Susan Cleaver's work because Sedona, outside the, I'm going to get it right here, it's the Community
Library, Sedona.
Sedona, thank you, because
Yeah.
they changed their name and I still have a time with it. But yes, if you've seen that statue, that's Susan Cleaver. And her artwork is everywhere. It's in one of the roundabouts. It's just everywhere. Ken Rowe, phenomenal artist. Chris Navarro, wonderful. James Muir, well, James has got
Epic.
pieces everywhere, including the Chapel of the Holy Cross. Eric Peterson. So these are the 5 people that you end up having the consortium with, and tell us where it was.
Sure. Well, it was at the famed and fabulous SIF Theaters.
Yes,
Sedona International Film Festival, Mary Fisher Theater. And when I first came up with the idea, I actually approached the artists first, and Susan was fabulous. She said, Skip, this idea of gathering us together, and I put a little tagline on this, it's a space to gather and share. Not a place. It's not a brick and mortar. It's a space to gather and share. She said, this has never been done before. I'm glad to participate. I approached all the other artists who are widely acclaimed and award-winning sculptors, and they all said, sure, we'll do this. I was amazed. Luck was with me there, too. And so we put it together. If I may speak about it individually shortly, just of each of the artists.
Yes, please.
James Muir, he is epic. I call him Gentleman James. He's a very polished, thoughtful, deep person. And one of his main messages as an artist of bronze was to find a niche that no one is in or that hasn't been filled. So that's great advice for aspiring sculptors. Mm-hmm. Going down the line, Chris Navarro had great advice to students of art, and he said, if you're going to take a lesson in art, go only to a professional, someone who has achieved the rank of professional. Don't go to other people. And by the way, he used to be a bull rider, believe it or not.
Really?
Well, yeah, until he realized it's not a matter of whether he would get hurt, but when. And, then, of course, he got into sculpting.
Right.
Susan, of course, she's so delicate and so refined and such a wonderful lady. She used to paint Hopi and Navajo women's faces and was quite a painter for a while.
I did not know that.
Yes, and that's why her sculptures are so exquisitely replicative of the subject person. And by the way, she also took a little tutelage under James Muir. And it's funny, some of these artists, they were with each other earlier on. Then, of course, Eric Peterson, from his location in Prescott, to me, he is the patina perfectionist. And that's why some of the major sculptors in Arizona and elsewhere go to him for the finishing touch. He's the mastermind of that.
Wonderful.
And then finally, Ken Rowe. Ken Rowe is a very good friend of mine. He's such a humble, polite, respectful gentleman. And a little quip about what he said on stage that night was when he used to tell people he was a taxidermist, the people would kind of recoil and say, "Oh, really?" But he's never hunted. And he realized that if he said it real fast, it would sound like he's a tax attorney. So what happened at that instant moment, of course, the audience was laughing, but also got them, the other artists on stage, they started laughing. And even Eric said, well, they're both bad.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I got the conviviality going. I got them consorting with one another. It was a great time. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, of course, the moderator, the curator and gallery owner, Linda Goldenstein.
Oh, she's a wonderful. What a peach.
Well, here's the thing. I just put the idea out on the table, and every one of these persons made it happen because of the name draw. So I really credit them for this, and it went off swimmingly. And I know why it's called Sedona, because there were only 5 tickets sold a week ahead of time. Yet 5,500 or 55 people were in the audience.
Right.
So.
And if people do bite their nails a bit. When Tom and I would do concerts and shows here, or the Dynamite Divas, or those musical murder mysteries, let me tell you, it was Sedona for sure, because maybe 2 or 3 days before we would pack it. It was like, wow, this is scary. But hey, it goes with the territory. Well, good. I'm so glad that you had that up and running. I mean, that is a huge thing to have happen just in the first 10 months. And actually, it happened. When did that happen? It happened several months ago. It was in
May.
Yes.
Second week in May.
Wasn't even 10 months, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Wow.
But, it was really the people that made it happen were the people on stage and Linda. Yes. I just sat in the audience and watched it. And believe me, I learned from every one of them.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did they talk to any of the artists? I'm sure there were artists in the audience.
There were.
Correct? Or want to be artists. Did they talk about business at all? Did they talk about the artist's mind dealing with business?
Not enough.
Okay.
We had 2 hours, but 2 hours was up. And I have a certain opinion about the business of the business, particularly as it relates to bronze sculpting and the foundries and the price of copper, etc. But we didn't get into that too much. I think people were so enthralled by the personal achievements and initiation into the art, into the craft, as well as their disappointments and their perseverance that made them, all of them, why they are award-winning sculptors, not just in Arizona. Their pieces are throughout the world.
Yeah, it's amazing what has to happen when you make a very large piece, how it has to be disassembled, all your work. I mean, that is like, I saw the film once about this, and I was going, no, don't do that. That has part of the process. And they have to put it all back together again, and it's almost like starting over in a way. It's just really interesting process.
It's a 3-dimensional jigsaw puzzle,
yeah,
and it
amazing.
has to be put back together expertly.
Yes.
By these folks.
Right. So it is quite a process.
And the whole process of bronzing is an 8 or 9 step process. To be honest with you, I still don't memorize the correct order of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
However, all I know is that I love bronze art. I have been collecting it for 25 years. So that's why I made the first symposium bronze sculpting. Now, they all asked me the very next day, what's your next one and when is it going to be? I said, you know what it's going to be? And they'll get a kick out of this if they listen to this. The next one's going to be how to make artists learn how to use email. Because they don't respond.
When you
find
find out, please let me know,
I'm
because I
telling
have that
you,
with musicians.
I send something out and it goes in the ozone. I don't hear back. So it was a lot of follow-up mainly.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe you should do the symposium on that.
I'm saying, that's
exactly.
the next one, right.
It's like, please contact us when we're reaching out.
Sure.
So that just kind of segues into another question I have for you, which is, how did you become such an art lover? Did this happen at a young age?
No. I was at a conference in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and went down Canyon Road and went into the first art gallery. And boom, this big horse by Gene and Rebecca Toby. This is about 24 years ago. Bronze piece about 18 inches high, 18 inches wide of a horse. And underneath the horse was a man. The horse was apparently sheltering the man from a pelting snowstorm or rainstorm.
Wow.
The man's one hand was on Mother Earth. The other hand was on the horse's rear hoof. and the horse was peering down beneath himself, checking to see if he was all right. I later found out that the man under the horse was actually Gene Toby. And the name of the piece was Partners in a Storm.
Oh.
My first piece I bought, I couldn't afford it, but I bought it. I still have it. And since then, it's just become an affection, not just for the pieces, but for the craft that these people have in their hands.
So what were you thinking when you saw that title and you saw that beautiful piece? How did you relate that on a personal level?
The relationship between animals and man, the faith they have in each other. And I know how horses came to America, and I know that they were put through the meat grinder, somewhat odd term to use, through several wars. And they're just our humble, obedient servants at man's will. But they're strong, they're intelligent, and it was a symbiosis, as you said, between man and horses. Besides that, I've branched out to other forms of or other subjects in bronze sculpting. Not so much media, not so much abstract or modern, but primarily, yes, persons, whether just the bust of a head or the entire body of Native Americans and their steeds and their wardrobe and headdresses and weapons. And so it's a kind of a romantic feeling that I have for both man and animal.
Well, that one piece, the first one that really struck you, because the way that you described it is like, wham, there it was.
It was live.
And right. And so was that personal to you also? Because I'm kind of threading this together, and I'm hearing strength, connection, the animal, the human, the whole thing coming together. What was going on in your life when you first saw that sculpture? Was there something there that really was meaningful to you because of what you were going through? Or if you don't mind sharing, I know it's slightly an intimate question.
Yeah, but it's an easy answer. And it's a good question, frankly. To be honest with you, I don't think I was going through anything catastrophic or bothersome to me. I just saw what I saw and I liked it, and I'm fairly spontaneous. So I liked it and I bought it. It's the first time in my life I ever bought a piece of art, and I haven't stopped.
Wow.
So I think it was
But it hit you somewhere really personal because it was like, bam.
I think, and you mentioned the word strength.
Yes.
Look at the Red Rock Mountains here.
Yes.
When I look at them, where I was first living when I got here, out the back door, I would look at Wilson Mountain, and I would just stare at it because it is empowering. There's a strength that is exuded by that rock, and it can fulfill me. It makes me think that I'm sure of myself. I always have been, but it gave me an inner strength to witness it every morning. And then when the evening sunlight hit it, it was changing to a more mellow, calming force. But there's a force out there, and I'm not a vortex follower, believer, or advocate one way or the other.
Right.
But those moments every morning were beautiful to look at, as well as the hummingbirds at the feeder.
Yes, it's undeniable. And speaking of strength, you, my friend, thank you for your service. You were in the Air Force, and you were an instructor navigator. Right. This is not an easy gig. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? And I do have to ask you. So you tell us about that. You have to tell me, what was the craziest thing that ever happened to you when you were doing that gig in the Air Force?
All right. So after college in 1967, I graduated Emerson College in Boston with a degree in English. 2 weeks later, I got the welcome letter from the president.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, a friend of mine and I, after school, we built a real shoddy camp in the mountains in New Hampshire, and we thought we would be like Thoreau and write poetry, whatever. But a post lady came knocking on the plywood door and said, "Is there a Mr. Daum here?" I said, "Yes." She hands me the letter. It says, "Greetings from your president." The next day, I was down at the Army recruiting station in Boston. And in those days, of course, Vietnam was going on. But in those days, we had the opportunity to choose the service that we wanted to serve in. So I chose the Air Force, and they sent me to flight school where I learned how to navigate planes from A to B. Matter of fact, we kind of joke that navigators are the only people in the world that can tell pilots where the heck to go. However,
I think that's absolutely
well,
true.
I know. I mean, so many midnight flights across the Atlantic. It's dry. The pilots are sleeping, and I'm driving the plane from my little desk area. But there are a couple of moments when it got kind of scary. I flew a 707, and we were what they call an airborne refueler. So we had fighters and bombers and all sorts of even helicopters come up and get gas when they needed it. And a very short story, one night, 3 o'clock over the Gulf of Tonkin, pitch black, no communications on the airwaves. And the navigator's job is to locate somebody who needs gas. In this case, it was all programmed. It had to be this Navy fighter. So I called him in. I said, okay, come on in at heading 345, altitude 310, airspeed such and such, and then get underneath me, which he did. And then we give him the gas. And the right way to leave that connection after the gas hose, we call it the boom, leaves the back of my plane and goes down into the receptacle on his fighter jet. He has enough gas, and the correct process for him to leave my 707 was to drift quietly, slowly to the right and lower. This character decides to show off. He drops down only 100 feet below my plane, puts his afterburner engaged, and goes out right in front of us and shakes my 707 like a Piper Cub.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't worry about it. Next night, same time, 3 a.m. in the dark, call for Navy fighter number 2. Come on in. This is tanker 1. And I said, do you see me now? Yeah, I see you. Boom. I said to my crew, that's the same guy.
Okay.
That was here last night.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of teased him a little. I said, well, we got a problem up front here in the cockpit. You're going to have to follow us around this 14-mile loop for a couple of runs.
Ooh.
So he got a little agitated. He says, hey, man, I am on bingo fuel. I'm going to be going down soon. I said, well, we still got a problem up here. You got to follow us around one more time.
Oh, gosh.
All right, long story
good.
short, we gave him the gas. And this time when we disconnected, nice and slowly to the right, he drifted away.
Aha.
So
He
I guess
got the message.
He got the message, and that's a story he'll never tell.
Yeah, I got to tell you, there's an old thing in theater, and it's this. Always be nice to your light and sound guy. You know what I mean? Because you might be standing where the spotlight should be, and it isn't there.
Right.
You move to it, and it goes somewhere else. I mean, it's like,
That's lighting.
it's just kind of like one of those things, rule of thumb.
Got it.
So same thing in your business of what you were doing at that time. And so, wow, what a thing. What
But
a thing.
I also have to comment that we built up a camaraderie. Each crew member relies on the other very significantly because it can be life or death.
Well, I tell you what, Skip, you have such an interesting life, and you've done so much, and we haven't even really gotten into a ton of stuff. I mean, Skip was a lobbyist. You might want to call that a legislative advocate, I think is the right term for it. That's a lobbyist, you guys. 50 years you did that.
50.
Oh, my goodness.
So what happened was...
What were you, started when you were 5 or something? Really? I mean, what?
No, but I learned a lot, I'll tell you that much. When I got out of the Air Force, I didn't have a job, and so I actually ended up flying another airplane for the California Reserves, which was the C-5A, which is the largest airplane in the world.
Wow.
And that was a part-time gig. So I've been to Hawaii a couple dozen times because we take the plane over there on training flights and then come back the next day. Long story short, I knocked on doors in Sacramento, and the San Diego City School Legislative Affairs Office said they needed to hire somebody. Well, this was a great opportunity. They paid me the handsome stipend of $125 a month.
Oh,
so I could
wow! What a fortune, huh?
I could afford saltine crackers and peanut butter.
Good grief!
But then I listened to them gather and share their strategies about certain legislative bills, whereby one would say, Susan, you go see Senator Smith tomorrow, and here are the issues for him. Tom, you go see Assemblyperson Tompkins, and here are the issues for him. So the main thing is I learned a lot, and then I just started my own lobbying firm called Capital Communications Group.
Amazing.
My first client was school nurses, and I had 31 other organizations hire me over the next 50 years.
My goodness. Well, Skip, I want to thank you for being with me. Time just flew by, didn't it? Just
yeah,
flew
let's
by.
do this again.
We will do it again. And everybody, I want you to be looking now, the Artists Consortium. Skip Daum, thank you for all you're doing for this community. And you can go to the Sedona Heritage Museum and make sure you say hi to Skip.
On Thursdays.
We'll be right back.
See you there.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now, discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
Take a deep breath, then let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments. Every moment is designed to restore balance and renew your spirit. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at SedonaNewDaySpa.com or call 928-282-7502.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineering to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at SeftonEngineeringConsultants.com. Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Group.
That was fun. I always love having Chef Lisa Dahl. And, of course, getting to know Skip Daum was really cool. Oh, do you hear that? You know what that means. It's time for my shameless Shondra spot. For those of you VIPs who've been tuning in these past 18 weeks so far, you've heard me talk about the new musical that I wrote songs for, along with my creative partner, Emmy Award-winning writer Dev Ross. The musical's called The Dead Quilters Society, and it opened last November on the stage at the Sedona Heritage Museum. And we've worked Mary Fisher Theater. We were at the Old Town Center for the Arts. And I've got something to share with you that's really exciting news. So in April, at the Old Town Center for the Arts, during our run, I invited a couple of friends who were in town. They were in town from the UK. So just so happens that the gentleman of the couple has been working with the Nederlander organization for the past 30 years in England. If you don't know who the Nederlanders are, I'll give you a kind of a rundown. We're talking Broadway. All right, the organization has been around since 1912, and they own 9 theaters in New York, like the Marquis Theater, the Miscoff Theater, Palace Theater, Gershwin Theater. In L.A., it's like the Hollywood Pantages, the Dolby Theater, Chicago. There's just tons of theaters, and I'm not even naming half of them, right? So what he does for a living is find shows and put them in Nederlander theaters. Anyway, he and his wife came to the show at the Old Town Center for the Arts, Dead Quilters Society. They loved it. The next day over lunch, we spent time talking about the show. He made some suggestions, and he said, without a doubt, we should be performing the show, our musical, for audiences from up to 500 to 2,000 patrons, and that we needed to extend the show, meaning Dev would write more scenes in the script, and I would be writing more songs. So here is the other half of this exciting news. It's happened. The script has definitely been updated with new scenes. I've written 3 new songs. I'm writing 1 more, and I'm excited about this. So please mark your calendars, even if you've seen The Dead Quilter Society. And by the way, it is not about quilting, not even close. All right, not even close. Even if you've seen it, come see it, because guess what? With new material, yes, we have an intermission. And if you like wine, we'll be serving wine to you. Wine and little snacks. And with an intermission, that just means that you can go to the bathroom and you can get another glass of wine. So mark your calendars for November 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Sedona Heritage Museum as we put the show right back up where we started it. And you can get your tickets very soon at SedonaMuseum.org, the Dead Quilter Society. Well, thank you for staying with me during the whole show. Remember, you could always catch this show on mellowmountainradio.com. You'll find them there. You'll find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. Just goes on and on. Just look it up. Sedona's Backstage Pass. And if you want to hear it live on Mellow Mountain Radio, remember that is 106.5 FM and 780 AM. Now, I have to thank my sponsors. Thank you so much to the Sedona Heritage Museum, Sefton Engineering, Cleaner, Quicker Car Wash, Sedona New Day Spa, and my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group, Chef Lisa Dahl. Thank you so much to my guests, Chef Lisa Dahl and Skip Daum. So happy to have you both here. And I want to thank my engineer and producer, Ryan Thompson, doing a great job as always, and the owner of KAZM, Chuck Helstein. You guys are rocking it. So be sure that you get your VIP pass for next Saturday. Remember, every Saturday at 10 a.m., you can catch it on Mellow Mountain Radio 106.5 FM, 780 AM, and again, like I mentioned, mellowmountainradio.com, streaming live, and later, all those other streaming places. In the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you next Saturday.